52 past the hour, Tuesday, September 12th, live from Studio 6B, all around the country. Facebook, Twitter, Periscope, Daily Motion, Bongo TV.
Yeah, Earthlink.
Earthlink.
We're everywhere.
Cup and String. You can get us pretty much everywhere.
Yeah, we got a big social media audience, man. I'm loving it. Keep spreading the word. Keep sharing.
Well, it gets bigger just about every day.
Yeah. Besides the cable
TV. I have no
TV.
idea why, by the way. Is this no one has anything to do between 10 and 12?
Well, first off, I did change my hairpiece, and people are like, that's having a material effect.
All right, well, we have a much more important guest here than your hairpiece to talk about, and that's Peter Krauss.
That's
Peter Krauss is running for Suffolk County Sheriff, which I believe it's voting today.
Primary, right?
Primary is today. And please welcome to the show, Peter Krauss.
All right, Peter.
How are you, everybody?
How are you?
Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate you having me on today.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's great to have you here. So, and thank you for your service.
Appreciate that.
And you were well, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Again, my name's Peter Krauss, and I am a father of 6 children. I've been married. Been with my wife since I was 17, so that's 28 years now. So I'm committed to her, for life. And I've been with the New York City Police Department. I was hired in 1993, and I was promoted to sergeant in 2003. And then I was promoted to sergeant special assignment in 2007, and because of my work that I did for the Chief of Personnel directly, working for him in his office, and I retired in 2013. So
what
that's
would
a little
be
bit about my police.
What would be the difference between sergeant and then you said special?
Special assignment is a designated promotion. It's not something that a sergeant promotion is a civil service promotion. You receive that if you pass a test, right? You do well on a test. To be promoted to special assignment means you're recognized for your work, and it's a promotion based on that.
Right. So you're running for Suffolk County Sheriff. Why?
Well, last May, I remember reading in the paper that Steve Ballone said there's a culture of corruption in Suffolk County.
Yeah, I read that quote.
Right. He
troubling, by the way, coming from a guy like that.
Exactly. I mean, I have no reason to doubt it, right? We have no reason to doubt it. We can see it for ourselves. But he implicated our district attorney, Thomas Boda, as being the head of a criminal enterprise. And I don't know how well it sits with everybody else in Suffolk County to find out that your district attorney is being spoken of as being the head of a criminal enterprise in Suffolk County by the county executive. Didn't sit well with me at all, and I said, well, I wonder who out there is listening to this and has a problem with it. When I didn't see too many people step up and say that this is a problem, that they're going to get involved and try to find a solution for it, I said, well, I'm here, I'm able, I got the credentials. I'll throw my hat in the ring and see how we can clean this mess up.
No, that's fantastic. I like, one of the things that was always bothering me about government, and it sounds like you're on a mission to clean this up, is how do you get anything done when there is both corruption and just unethical people in there, or they're, doing things that they say one thing, they're doing things because they're maybe got donors to do it. You're sort of on a mission to kind of just clean that up.
Well, the answer lies in our Constitution. It's not too hard to find. Gratefully, our founding fathers are very wise people, and they left us a roadmap to the right solution. That it was what worked for them, and it's what will work for us too. And it all resides, really, the power of the sheriff is the power of the people. The sheriff is the highest ranking law enforcement officer in the county and can carry out the will of the people, but not by himself. He can do it through the grand jury. The grand jury is an institution that we still use like a shadow of it, but the institution that was formed under the Magna Carta in 1215 is 25 landowners came together and decided the fate of somebody, whether or not they would be held for a capital crime or not. Well, we could do that today. According to even our state constitution, we can hold any political official or anybody accountable for their actions through a grand jury indictment. And though traditionally now we have the district attorney who goes before the grand jury and presents cases, a grand jury could be called by the sheriff historically. Right. And I would seek to do that. If need be, I would just call 25 members of this county and hold whoever I need to accountable. And if I get a written indictment or on anybody, the county executive or the district attorney, well, then they go and they have to answer for it in front of a jury of their peers in court.
Right, but your scope goes beyond, or potential scope goes beyond politicians, right? We've got MS-13, we've got drugs in this county, things like that.
They can certainly be managed with aggressive policing, and that's certainly the focus of this race. Obviously, the other candidates that are running are very focused on the drug epidemic and the gang problem. And I, of course, you're not going to hear any. If we had a debate on that, we'd all be saying
the same thing. It's obvious.
It's obvious, but the problems that run deeper, that are cultural, that are, that they're they're the foundational problems that we have. In the 60s, Patrick Moynihan did a report on fatherlessness, and he said that it was contributing greatly to the crime rates in the black family.
Right.
All right. There at that time in that report, the fatherlessness in the black community was about 25%. Today, it's up to about 70%, or between 70 and 80% for the black community, and it's about 20-something% now in the white community. And he said that was a needed national attention. It was a national crisis that needed to be fixed because it was going to create problems. And we see the result of that today.
Yeah.
Gangs, drugs, everybody's looking to belong to something.
Yeah.
And they're finding it in all the wrong places.
That's common sense.
Yeah,
You pick up Newsday. I picked up Newsday this morning, and the front cover: use of overdose antidotes on the rise. 20% increase island-wide last year. Like Vince said, you have the MS-13. I mean, we kind of got into it a little bit just now. I don't want to ask you the same thing over, but in your mind, how is Suffolk County doing with these two problems right now, and what could you see improving upon? Is it technology? What could we be improving on to continue to tackle these two huge problems that we have in Suffolk County?
These two huge problems can be tackled in Suffolk County by, again, with aggressive policing is like a Band-Aid fix. Yeah, you can lock them up, you could put them in jail and get them off the streets for a time. If they're illegal immigrants, you can process them, give them a speedy trial. I would have them do their time here and then get sent out of our country rather than shipping them right out so they come right across the border again tomorrow.
Sure.
But to remedy the solution, we really do need to fix this fatherless problem. That can be done in the private sector. Fortunately, there are many good community groups. Like one is the Long Island Youth Mentoring Group that I'm familiar with. They set up, men to be mentors to these children. Now, the problem with that is that there's not enough men volunteering to be mentors.
Right.
There's a waiting list of children waiting for mentors. If we can get them young so they don't navigate or gravitate towards these type of solutions in their lives, maybe we can actually have a fix for the future.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because Jim Brown, great football player, and he often talks to the black community about this because he said it's a guy named Ken Malloy that took Jim Brown under his wing, a white guy.
Yeah.
Jim was, a great athlete and all, but wasn't, fatherless home, wasn't going to make it. And he talks all the time about, I needed that.
Yeah.
I needed a mentor. And, and by the way, this happened to be a guy not of my race. So, let's not use race here.
Yeah,
let's not use all these excuses. Let's use the fact that maybe our structure has broken down a little bit. But one of my questions regarding your focus, which is cleaning up some of this corruption as it relates to some of the problems we have in Suffolk County, are they connected in any way? Like, cleaning up the corruption, does that get the drugs and all out of this stuff addressed better, or are they separate and you got to tackle them separately?
I think it's all connected in a way. I mean, we view our leaders and see what they can or cannot do or get away with. And if you see a culture of corruption at the top, what's to keep us from being corrupt at the bottom?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Trickles all the way down.
It's a trickle-down thing, sure. So that one has to do with the other. If we can restore a culture of virtue and integrity and trust for our posterity, then maybe we're in a good direction going forward as a country. But right now, the trajectory doesn't seem positive from my standpoint.
Right. Totally understand.
And some kids get caught up in gangs, like I said, because they're searching for something different. And there was a time when I was on the streets, and one of the very first jobs I had coming out of the academy, I had to watch usually you go to the hospital to watch prisoners. This was watching somebody who was a gang member. We were protecting him, so to speak, because he got jumped out of the gang, okay?
Right.
So he had his neck throat sliced from ear to ear, so they left him to die in the park. So I was watching him in the hospital, and week after week I would have this assignment because I was brand new. You don't get to go out on patrol when you're brand new. You get stuck with these type of assignments. And as he healed over time, I got to know him, got to speak to him or whatever, and he's like, I just wanted out.
Yeah,
and
how do I get out?
How do I get out?
Throat slit.
And these poor kids, they get involved in these things and they get caught up in it, and once you're in, you can't get out.
Yeah.
They will kill you before they let you out.
Look at the stuff we've seen with MS-13. I mean, I give the Trump administration a lot of credit for coming in and into especially our community and trying to do what they can. But I think that's a great point. The fear of getting out. It's like, can't you get out? No, it's not like joining the club, the soccer club.
That's right.
I quit.
No.
You can't do that. And your family.
Yeah, it's a mistake that can cost you your life if you get caught up in this world.
Yeah, amazing.
So I don't know if you think of yourself as a Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, Independent, but I noticed on your website, one of the things you say in your capacity as sheriff, number 6, you wrote, Protect and defend the rights of parents to raise their children as they deem best. And that's interesting to me because we continue to see this overreach on a federal level, this iron-fisted hand of government jumping into all kinds of parts of our lives where I would say they shouldn't be, whether it's what we should be eating, what we should be doing, all of this stuff. So what is that, when you write that, what does that mean to you?
There are 4 levels of government as identified through the Bible, okay? And I'm a big, I said yesterday on another show that I'm very religious, but I hate to use that word because it sounds like I'm a part of like a religion. I'm more of a Bible follower, okay? I read my Bible and I apply it to my life. In the Bible, it teaches us the basic level of government is self-government, being able to govern yourself, self-control, right? Doing the right thing, when nobody is looking, integrity. That's the basis of government, okay? If you got that down, you really don't need anybody else controlling you, okay? Outside of that, now the next level is your family, is a family government. And the Bible establishes as the father being the head of a household, laying down the law in his household. And that's really where I'm touching on here is I have respect for that jurisdiction, okay? There is a jurisdiction we need to recognize that's within a family. And you deal with the things you got to deal with in your own home. If it now gets to the point that it can't be managed and controlled, well, then it goes to the next level. All right, now there's 2 other levels of government. One would be church government, doesn't really apply here. But then the 4th is the civil government. And if it has to go to the civil government, obviously there's some sort of massive abuse going on in the home or something like that that we need to address.
Right, so it's let people make their own choices, let parents, lead and do what they need to do with their kids. It's very similar to what the Founding Fathers had in mind for this country in general. It's constitutional stuff, and that's, we've lost focus of that.
Don't hurt anyone and don't take their stuff. It should be that simple.
We got about a minute left. I mean, we have a lot of people from Suffolk County who watch the show. What do you want them to know here this morning at 10:45?
Well, I want them to know that I was taken off the ballot for the Republican primary today, because they challenged my signatures, and through the litigation, the time constraints that I had didn't allow me to finish going through the whole appeal process to be on the ballot today. However, you can still write me in. There is a spot. If you are interested in writing me in, please do send a message back to the establishment that they don't get to choose for us.
That's ridiculous. Why would they mess around in a technicality like that when you're running? So let's write in Peter if you get a chance to, okay?
Right, Peter Krauss here live from Studio 6B. We're back 20 seconds on social media.
Guys, thank you.
Thank you so much.